Greetings everyone and welcome back to another video. We got some big news today. The Legendary Romulan Warbird Bundle. I wanted to get this out yesterday, but I wasn't able to. I'm not going to read this paragraph here. You guys can read that yourself. I'm not going to waste your time with it. It's just, you know, Romulans make good ships, blah, blah. All right, the Legendary Romulan Warbird Bundle will retain in the Zen store, a little typo there, for 12,000 Zen, but will be 35% off from August 12th to August 19th. And that should make it around 7,800, I believe. So about $78. And what do you get for that? You get a Legendary Scimitar Intel Dreadnought Warbird, the Legendary Diderotix Miracle Worker Warbird Battlecruiser, 1 coupon for a C-Store Tier 6 ship, 2 experimental ship upgrade tokens, 2 ship slots, 3 Infinity Promo Romulan Survivor Duty Officer packs, TOS era Romulan uniform, TNG era Romulan uniform, the Riemann uniform, and the Riemann species. And I have to say, if you buy it on sale, you're getting 2 legendary ships. And you know, the other stuff has value too, right? I mean, whether you not you want the costumes, or you already have them, or you have the Riemann species unlocked, the experimental ship upgrade tokens and the ship slots have real value here. We're pretty close, depending on how you want to add it up, to actually getting these for $30 each, because this is about as close. This is probably the best legendary bundle in terms of what you get in terms of ships for the money you're spending since the original legendary bundle. Because if you consider each of these to be, you know, $30 each, then the coupon would be another $30. That would already be at $90, but you may not want any C-Store ships, but the 2 experimental ship upgrades and the ship slots are going to add on another good 1,000 there. So, yeah, I think that this is definitely a good deal in terms of value for money. If you're looking at just how much legendary ship you get per Zen, this is a good one. So, and I am happy that they are putting these experimental ship upgrades and the ship slots in here. It is something I've complained about in the past, especially the ship slots, because you buy a ship and then you have to go out and buy a ship slot, otherwise you don't have room for it. So they got you covered. You're going to have a ship slot to put it in, and you're going to have an experimental upgrade token to upgrade it, so you don't have to buy that stuff extra. I am really happy they're including this stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ships themselves. Let me open up the first one here. Boop, boop, boop. All right, the Legendary Diderotix airplane flying overhead, Miracle Worker Battlecruiser. Why are there so many airplanes in New York? Let's just go straight to the stats, okay? It's a Miracle Worker primary. It also has a temp op seat. Tier 6, any faction, they finally just changed that. I mean, Romulan ships have been any faction for a while, but with the, you know, everyone being able to fly everything now. Hull modifier 1.55. This is updated, by the way. When I was making the video yesterday, I had started recording it, and then I got a phone call and I couldn't finish it. People were already complaining online about the stats, but they had not announced the changes yet. So in some ways, it's a little bit of a blessing that I couldn't finish it, because now I get to talk about the updated stats. And I get to rag on Reddit a little bit, because they're all a bunch of hypocrites and liars over there. When they were complaining about the stats, because it had a 1.5 hull modifier, people really weren't complaining about that part. They were complaining about the turn rate. So it had originally it had a turn rate of 5, and the inertia modifier, I think, was 30. I don't remember. It was low, and people were complaining about that. And they said, well, you know what? I would buy it, but they're going to have to bump that turn rate up. You know, they're going to have to make it a little bit more enticing. Otherwise, I'm not buying. And that we saw that refrain over and over and over and over again. And people were putting up polls, and there was multiple threads on it and tons of comments, and it's all anyone wanted to talk about. And then they said, due to player feedback, we're going to increase the stats. The turn rate's going to go up to 6, inertia is going to go up to 45, and the hull modifier got bumped up to 1.55, which is really high. I think 1.55 is the highest in the game. And people, if you go back on Reddit right now, I checked this morning before I left the house, and people are saying, oh, I'm glad they changed it, but I'm still not going to buy. Oh yeah, thanks for changing the stats, but it's still a pass for me, dog. Like, fuck you. I don't mean to swear here, but fuck all of those assholes over on Reddit. They're all lying pieces of shit. They all rallied and threw a tantrum on the internet to get them to change the stats. They changed the stats, and now they're all still saying they're not going to buy it. If you don't want to buy it, fine. No one's telling you to buy it. But don't be a dick about it, right? The difference between 5, 6, and 7 turn rate is not that big a deal anyway. If you weren't going to buy it with a turn rate of 5, you're not going to buy it with a turn rate of 7. If you don't want to buy it, just say you're not going to buy it. Like, it just pisses me off to no end. I'm glad I'm banned over there. Maybe you're starting to see why now. Anyway, let's look at the rest of the stats. It's a 4-4 because it's a, you know, it's a cruiser. It's a battle cruiser, but I mean, basically, it's a cruiser. It's built like a cruiser. It has a commander, engineering miracle worker, a lieutenant commander, tactical temp ops, which kind of makes it useful for temp ops because useless. I mean, you're not going to put a temp op ability on your tactical seat. Lieutenant Commander Science, a Lieutenant Universal, and an Ensign Universal. A lot of these legendary ships are having extra Universal seats. I really am happy about that. That's nice. The Temp Ops probably wouldn't have been, you know, the biggest thing in the world anyway, but it is there. It does have 2 different specialization seats, which does help give it that premium feel. Miracle Worker is good. It's the best for energy weapons, so if you want to do a beam build with this or something, you're going to be perfectly set for that. You know, there's really only 2 kinds of ships in the game. There's the ships you fly for the stats. There's the ships you fly for fun. The legendary D'Deridex was never going to be a stat ship. It was always going to be a fun ship that you're flying because it's a D'Deridex. And yeah, so it kind of doesn't matter. I'm not upset. I could complain that it's not a 5-3 weapon layout or whatever. But honestly, I don't really care what the stats are. You can make it flyable no matter what. It has a great hull modifier. It has Miracle Worker seating. If you're just trying to build it so you can go out and kill stuff in a D'Deridex, it's going to do you just fine. The only really interesting thing on this ship for me is the trait. I don't know how good it will be. And the thing about traits are, you know, because this is going to be a torpedo trait, is that a lot of the best torpedo traits are single character premium ship unlocks. And so even if this isn't like a top 6 trait, it might be a top 6 account unlock trait, if that makes any sense, right? So maybe one of the things I might start doing if I ever do a build video again, is say, here's the 6 traits I would use if I could have anything, and here's the 6 account unlock traits I would use, you know, because, you know, your alts aren't necessarily going to have access to all that stuff. So anyway, we got a new trait, Rapid Emitting Armaments. Upon reaching Tier 6 in the Starship Mastery, you'll unlock the Rapid Emitting Armaments trait for all characters on your account. While this trait is slotted, you activate Tractor Beam, which has a pretty low cooldown. You fire 3 heavy plasma torpedoes and gain bonus torpedo damage for a short duration. So that's pretty nice. And you know, you combine that with Sniper and some other things we have available. You could make a very nice account. The ability to make a nice account unlock torpedo build is starting to come together, because that was always the big. I mean, you still you don't have subspatial warheads that, you know, but maybe they'll stick that into a mud bundle. And then they got the new skin on here, which, you know, personally for me, I've never been a big fan of this ship, so it doesn't do anything for me. I know there's a lot of people who like it. It is very iconic, especially from, you know, TNG and Tomahawk and all that. I love those episodes. So I'm a fan of the D'Deridex that way, but I'm not that interested in flying it. Then you have some other variants here. Of course, it's all the other old variants of the ship, plus this new one, the Unity variant. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Legendary Scimitar. We've saved the dessert for last, at least in my opinion. I have been thinking about doing a review of the Tier 6 Scimitar for a long time now, and I've almost done it on multiple occasions. So this definitely gives me the chance, the opportunity I've been looking for to review this ship. It is in my top 10 C-Store ships list, and it's just an amazing ship. I really love the way it looks. It's very powerful. This version is better than all the other versions in the game. There is an argument to be made that if you already have the Tier 6 versions, then this isn't that much of an upgrade. And that's kind of true, because the regular Tier 6 version is already such a powerhouse. This is slightly better, but maybe it's not better enough for you to, you know, to pay for it, and that's perfectly fine. That would be a valid reason not to buy it. Not because your 4-4 slow-ass cruiser doesn't have a 7 turn rate instead of a 5, but anyway. So let's take a look at this thing. It has a hull modifier of 1.4, which is pretty good for a ship like this with a tactical commander seat. It has a shield modifier of 1.15. It has a 5.3 weapon layout, chef's kiss, mwah. It has a commander tactical intel, and that is actually pretty useful. The regular tier 6 ones, normally I complain about intel seating, but thanks to the Oberth console, this does have some use because the tier 6 version already had command seating, so you could do concentrate firepower 3. People wanted this to be a full command ship so you could get call emergency artillery. You can't do that, so maybe it's not going to be, top, tippy-top shelf, but you do get override subsystem safeties now, which will allow you to greatly extend the duration of that console from the Oberth. The name escapes me at the moment, the one that gives you the stacking Cat 2 torpedo damage. So there is use here. It is going to be good for the ship. It is a real legitimate upgrade, unlike the temp op seating on the Diderodex, which is just kind of there. This intel seating is actually useful, and if you're using it as an energy weapon ship, which is how I've used it traditionally throughout most of the time I've played Star Trek Online, sure, it's not as good as Miracle Worker, but you're still going to get more energy weapon damage because override subsystem safeties gives you weapon power, so up and above the normal 125 cap. So this is definitely an improvement. It's an improvement across the board. The intel seating improves its capabilities as a torpedo boat, and it also improves its capabilities as an energy weapon boat. And it was already good at both of those things just because on a baseline level, these Scimitars are just badass. Anyway, so we also have a Lieutenant Commander Engineering Command seat, a Lieutenant Commander Universal, and a Lieutenant Universal, and an Ensign Universal. So all those other seats are universal, which is really nice because you can put whatever you want on there. It has 5 tactical consoles, 3 engineering, 3 for science, turn rate of 7.5, so better than the Diderodex. It has an inertia of 30, which is low. That's always been a problem with these Scimitars, is they have a drift problem. They don't want to stop, but we've been finding ways to live with it for years. We'll continue to find a way to live with it. 15 to weapons, 5 to engines. That's also really good. And then, of course, it has all of the old stuff on it. That's how these legendary ships are, all the old consoles from the old versions. But really, we want to talk about the new stuff. The new thing here is the new trait. If you already have the 10th anniversary bundle, then you already have all of the legacy consoles because you got them from the Odyssey, because this is the Romulan version of that. So you may not have anything new there, but it does come with a new trait. So let's talk about the new trait. She's a Predator. Upon reaching tier 6 in the Starship Mastery, you will unlock the She's a Predator trait for all characters on your account. While the trait is slotted, activating attack pattern abilities heals you for a percentage of your max health and grants damage equal to your ambush bonus and reduces your cloak cooldown. This can only happen once per several seconds. And I think that this could be pretty useful. It's going to be hard to say without actually looking at the numbers and trying it out, but I think this could be pretty useful. The heal on it, there's a lot of healing traits, so maybe that won't be, that's not going to be the thing people slot it for probably. But the ambush bonus damage, that could be pretty good. It says just damage, not bonus damage. I was using bonus colloquially there, sorry. So we'll just have to see what it looks like. Honestly, I'm leaning towards the most likely scenario is that this won't be overly useful, but it might be. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then we got a new variant, the Tal Shiar Adapted. So there's already been several other Tal Shiar Adapted Romulan ships in the game. Basically, they look more Borg-like. That's the thing, because if you've played the story missions and stuff, the Romulans are experimenting with Borg technology and trying to integrate it in their ships. So this is a more Borg-like version of the Scimitar in terms of appearance. I'm probably just going to stick to that tier 5 version though. The actual Scimitar skin. It's my favorite. That old tier 5 one is still my favorite, but it does have a cool new skin. Okay, I've ranted and raved and we've gone on for far too long, so I'm going to end it here. I'm definitely buying it. I'm definitely reviewing it. if you already have the tier 6 Scimitars, and you probably already do, it's a popular ship, maybe this isn't enough of an upgrade to get you to buy. If you're a big fan of the Diderodex, hey, it's better than the other Diderodexes in the game, so, you know, there's that. So if you want to fly the best version of that ship because you love it, then this would be the best version. I could understand people seeing these as too small of an upgrade in order to buy, but it is a great price for a Legendary bundle outside of the original one. So I also think it's important, if you're going to spend money on the game, and there's no pressure to, spend it on things like this. Don't spend it gambling. Buy these sorts of things. These are the things to spend the money on. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.